Now we're just about to start the installation of our plantation shutters, and in the kit you'll receive these screws here for the hinges, these Hoffman keys to hold the L frame together, the little round striker plates with the screws to hold the panels closed, and the little installation stickers. Now, to assist with the installation of the plantation shutters, we do have this installation kit available on the iSleek Blinds website, and what you get is a 5mm drill for drilling your L frame. You get a PH1 and PH2 bit for the installation. We'll send you an assortment of packers at different sizes and also the installation screws. So I've got my Z frame laid out left, right, top and bottom, and you can see that I've got the top marked with the painter's tape just to always so I know where the top is. I'm going to use my Hoffman keys now. I've got some timber on the carpet just so I ensure the Hoffman key sits in nice and flush, and let's go ahead and build our frame. Okay, so now our frame's built, let's go ahead and install the top and bottom hinges. Now, if you've got a large panel, you may not be able to install the middle hinges, and we'll do that later when you're actually installing the panel. But for right now, it's important that we do the top and bottom hinge, and they're pre-marked and I can see my little holes. So let's go ahead and get those screwed in. Now, I'm not going to do them tight because I do want to be able to have some adjustment later to adjust the panel height. So I'm just going to get them in place and still have that up and down movement. Okay, so now we've got our frame built, which is just here. We've got to get it inside the window, and it's really important now that we use our assortment of different size packers, and we've got to get the frame in the window reveal, and we've got to make sure everything's really square. So we've got to start with a level bottom, and we've got to come up nice and square, and that's exactly where our packers are going to be used. Now, I'm going to focus on packing my corners, so when I put a screw into the frame, I don't want my miter to open up, and I want my corner to be nice and tight. So let's go ahead and get that done and make sure everything is straight and square and level. Okay, now I'm happy everything's nice and square. We're ready to move on to our next step. So I'm working inside a timber reveal today, so I'm going to use screws and then complete the installation. But if I was working in a bathroom with a square set sort of tile recess and I don't want to drill into the tiles, the good thing about a Z frame is that I can actually just glue the frame in place. So I'll use this Sally 650. I'll glue the frame in place once I've got everything square with my packers. I'll let that sit for 24 hours or 48 hours, and then I'll present the panels. So two little variations, but that I've used that quite often for tiles and it works really well. So now let's go ahead and pre-drill the frame. So all I'm going to do now is my frame is square, my packers are in the corner, and I'm just going to drill 4 holes to enable us to sort of continue squaring up the shutter once the panels go in. So let's just get that done. Okay, all right, so let's get these 4 screws in place. Remember, we don't have to go overboard with the screws at this point. We're just seeing so we can present the panels and we can check our squareness for the final time before we do more installation screws. So let's go ahead and get those ones in place. Okay, so our frame is secure, going well so far. We're going to start to hang our panels, just popping the pins in and see how it looks and see how it squares up. So this is the left-hand panel, and a plantation shutter closes when it's dressing up. So just make sure we've got it the right way around, and you can see that's dressing up to the closed position. So let's just pop the pins in. Okay, going well so far. Everything's opening and closing and looking good. Now my hinges are still loose that are attached to the frame, so I can see I just need to come up a little bit with each panel. So let's go ahead and get that done, and we'll also tighten them on at the same time. So I'm just going to lift it a couple of mils and then tight, tight, tight. All right, let's just test that now. Now our lines are perfect. So now that I'm happy with the way that everything is opening and closing, what I'm going to do is pre-drill and screw the corner in the down here and there and that side there, just to get my corners nice and square. There's no more adjustments that I need to do, so we can start locking things off. So let's go and get that done. So now I've pre-drilled the frame, it's time to put the screws into the bottom frame and secure there. Now, if it's a wider panel, obviously you may put some more screws kind of in the middle and at the top. And if it's a high panel, you may put some more screws in there. So just go ahead and get those done. You don't need to go overboard, but just make sure it's nice and secure. You're using your packers to keep everything nice and square. So let's get this done. So there's only 2 steps to go. Well done for getting this far. Hashtag winning. Everything is opening and closing really well. The next step we're going to do is just lock off our panel height. So in the hinge there's a round hole, and we just need to put a screw in that round hole, and that will set our height so it doesn't move. So let's do that. Last thing we're going to do is just fit our little striker plate with a screw into the frame here, and that'll just hold our plantation shutter panels closed. So let's go ahead and get that done. So congratulations, awesome outcome. If you need help, just reach out.